Hey there guys, I am Rogues and this video is all about why you should be playing Warface. Okay, so firstly, what is Warface? Warface is a near-future, squad-based tactical first-person shooter which blends both PvP and PvE gameplay. Developed by Germany-based Crytek, the original developers of the legendary gaming series Far Cry, and also developers of the supercomputer destroying series of games that were Crysis. This game was originally developed for Xbox 360 and PS3 with Crytek's own in-house CryEngine 3.0. For release on PS4 and Xbox One, it now features more modern support for the newer CryEngine. Okay, now that you know what the game is and who are the people behind it, let's delve into the gameplay. Okay, so we're going to start at the bottom with co-op. Co-op is the baseline PvE game experience. This will see your 5-member fire team complete a series of missions. Now there are multiple difficulty levels from easy, normal and hard, basically spawning in more and harder enemies as you progress. And these missions are also on a constant rotation. So every day you log in, there'll be 5 new missions. And even if you see the same mission again in a couple of days' time, it's going to be at a different difficulty. Therefore meaning it's never the same experience every day.
Checkpoint reached. All expendables
Next up we have Special Operations. Special Operations is essentially the end game content for the PvE side. Basically what this is a much longer, more difficult mission, which is the Warface equivalent of a raid or dungeon scenario. Basically you have many checkpoints, and in these checkpoints you will have to fight many waves of enemies. These enemies will get progressively harder and more numerous, and you'll also encounter unique scenarios, in which case you'll need to use newfangled mechanics in order to take down certain mini-bosses. These special operations are all thankfully quite unique in their appearance and game mechanics. In one you might perhaps have to fight your way through wave after wave of cyborgs as you fight your way into a factory so that you can shut it down and remove the threat of cyborgs from the future.
Still alive, Warface? Good. Keep on shooting.
In another, you might be fighting ever-increasing numbers of security personnel and ever more dangerous automated defences in a top-secret underground bunker as you fight your way to destroy the enemy's super weapon. Now, as you see in this particular special operation, which is Earthshaker, in this level we came across a mini-boss. In this particular case, it was an automated minigun which was completely invulnerable from the front, therefore meaning that we had to draw its aggro to one side of the actual map so that one of our players could sneak past it and start doing damage from the back. Now, at the end of some but not all special operations, you will encounter a main boss. Now, in this particular gameplay, we were actually able to take it down and become one of the first teams in the game to take down the Earthshaker boss on PS4. Your reward for doing this is some really, really high-end gear, but unfortunately you have a minuscule amount of time to use it, as they are time limited. In this case, we were able to get rewards for 2 hours in game, which doesn't seem so rewarding to me.
Outstanding job, soldiers. We're now evaluating the mission brief to decide whether you carry on or evacuate. Wait on while we make the call.
Now, in terms of PvP, Warface has quite the wide variety of game styles in this. You have your stereotypical ones such as Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch. You also have ones that you wouldn't quite expect. You have Storm, which is essentially a shrunken down version of Operations from Battlefield, where you have 3 capture points in a row, quite a long, thin map, and you basically have to advance forward, capturing those objectives one after another. Capture one, that unlocks the next one, until you can force the enemy to be at their home spawn. Basically, that game mode is played over 2 rounds, 1 attacking and 1 defending.
We are capturing a position.
Now, on the opposite end of the scale, we have Blitz, Capture and Plant the Bomb. Now, these game styles will all be very familiar for anybody who's played Rainbow Six Siege. But imagine that game on steroids, as instead of being limited to 5 on 5, this is 8 on 8 fast-paced, action-based combat. Unlike Storm, which can be quite a cagey affair, these game modes suit hyper-aggressive pushing styles of gameplay, rewarding people for taking the risk to do the maximum amount of damage in the shortest possible time.
Round start. We defused the bomb. Bomb at the enemy plant site.
Now, because these game modes are so fast and the margins of error are so small, the slightest mistake can almost certainly cost your team a victory. Such as here, where despite being knocked down, the opposition team forgot to actually kill me, resulting in me destroying half of their team.
Bomb dropped.
Progression is handled in a pretty straightforward way in Warface. Basically, at the end of any activity, whether it's PvP or PvE, you'll be rewarded with 3 things. Firstly, Warface dollars. Warface dollars are used for 3 things in game. First, to buy weapons and items you have unlocked in the game for your character. Secondly, you can use these dollars to rent weapons from the store. Thirdly, they're used in the upkeep. So basically, to prevent a pay-to-win mentality spreading throughout the game, the better the gun you equip, the more it costs to keep that gun in the game as the guns gradually degrade over time. The second thing you'll gain is experience points. Experience points goes into levelling up your character. As you level up, you will get reward boxes. Inside these reward boxes are new weapons. Now, these weapons are always better than the ones that you can currently equip. Now, what happens is, the better that weapon is, the shorter the time period you have to use it. The longest period I've ever seen was about 7 days for a gun that was just better than the one I had, and the shortest time period I saw was about 2 hours for a gun that was absolutely god tier. The third and final thing you can get at the end of every activity are vendor points. Vendor points are used to unlock all the items in the game, be it weapons, armour, or attachments. You can choose to spend all your vendor points in one particular branch. First of all, I unlocked every tier 1 attachment I could for my weapons to make all baseline weapons that little bit better than they were to start with. But I could very easily have chosen a route of going strictly for weapons to try and increase the DPS I was doing in game. Or I could have went the armour route and done this to improve my chances of survivability inside the game in both PvP and PvE. Now, being a free-to-play game, Warface does have its fair number of microtransactions. It has a particular premium currency called credits, which you can use to buy anything from skins for your character, skins for your guns, to straight up being able to buy armour and really good tier weapons. Character skins start at 800 credits. Now bear in mind, 1,000 credits is going to cost you about £8. Guns start at 500 credits, which is basically £4, going up to a staggering 2,500 credits for a single gun. That's 20 real life British pounds for one gun. How good is this gun? I don't know. I will never know, because I will never pay that much for a gun in a game. That does worry me a bit. The fact it's got guns at such a price. The premium on those guns means they've got to be really good to be even seemingly worth the value. So that's something that's deeply worrying for me, because if you're playing against people who have this money to put into this game to buy these weapons, it's going to become less and less fun for you as you get destroyed routinely in PvP. Now, in terms of future content, Crytek have already set out a roadmap for the next 4 months, providing all the information on what they're going to be adding to the game. Firstly, every month there's going to be a new special operation added to the game for the PvE side. When it comes to PvP, Crytek have also announced new game modes coming out, roughly one every month. For October, that game mode is Battle Royale. Do you know, we're all kind of getting bored of, but it's interesting to get a first person personal. Also on the PvP side, Crytek will be adding 3 new maps for October. These are Motel for Team Deathmatch game modes, Palace for Plant a Bomb game modes, and High Hill for Storm game modes. Now, Crytek has also announced the intention to supply another 3 maps in November, 3 maps in December, and 3 maps in January, meaning in the next 4 months, 12 new maps will be added to the game for PvP. Now, finally, the random observations I've noticed in the game. Firstly, I think the crown system needs a major overhaul. So basically, crowns are a skill-based currency within the game. They're used to rent really good weapons, but that's it. Unlike cash, which can be used to buy weapons and then rent slightly better weapons, you can only use crowns to rent really good weapons. I think adding a tier of weapons that you can buy in-game with crowns would mean that it would encourage players to play the PvE side as well as the PvP side. especially given the fact that you can complete activities on the PvE side and not be rewarded with any crowns. So for every good fire team, which allows you to complete an activity quickly with getting the score multiplier and getting loads of crowns, you can be teamed up with a bunch of spanners who are useless, and you can spend 40 minutes completing an activity and get 0 rewards. Secondly, one thing I really like in the game is the ability to change attachments whilst you're in battle. So basically in any PvP or PvE game mode, you press left on the D-pad, you'll bring up this particular screen, and what it shows you is all the attachments you've unlocked, and you can then switch between them. So if you're going from a more closed-in environment to an open part of the map, you can choose to switch from, say, a 1.2 times magnification scope on your gun to a 2.5, allowing you to do extra damage at extra range. The one thing I don't like about it is that you can't actually switch guns. So if you're playing, say, an engineer, and you have a particular gun that's good at long range, you can't actually switch to that inside the game. That's locked out. The weapon you've got selected is the only weapon you can take into the map, so that's something I think that could be changed in the future. Thirdly, I like the fact that you're rewarded for logging in every day. Some games just expect this. I came from playing Destiny, where it's a case of logging in every day and you could go days and days without rewards, especially if you have bad luck with glitches in the raids. So I really like the fact that every day you log in, you're guaranteed a certain reward. So you might get cash, revival coins, a weapon unlock, crowns, or indeed the premium currency credits, meaning that if you play it enough, you will actually be able to buy the end tier premium based guns. And finally, when it comes to ranked matches, the super competitive mode in PvP and Warface, it's cut down from 8v8 to 5v5. It's basically like Rainbow Six Siege. I do really think they could do with some improvements to matchmaking. The times that you're match made as an individual against teams, or if you're somebody who's low level going in, getting match made against really good high level players, I do think that needs to be fixed. Because basically, is it competitive if you're getting constantly match made with people with different skills? I mean, you really want to be playing people with the same skills so you can improve yourself. Anyway, I've been Brogues, this has been my video on Warface, and if you've got any comments, please feel free to drop them down below. If you want to help the channel grow, please feel free to like this video, or indeed subscribe to the channel.